There are people who start an Amazon FBA business and grow very quickly, and then there are people who come onto Amazon FBA and they don't grow at all, they don't make any progress, and they fail miserably. Why is that? In this video, I'm going to tell you 4 things that you need to keep in mind that will drastically improve your chances to succeed. And I tell you this as someone who has helped thousands of people build this business. So many testimonials that have come out of my mentorship program where I work with people one-on-one so that I actually get to see what is going on with them, what is going on with their business. Why is this person succeeding while this person is failing miserably? Look, this is Jonathan. He went from 0 to a 10K month in 46 days. This is Christy. She went from 0 to a 10K month in 60 days. This is Brian. He went from 0 to a 35K month in 90 days. Okay. And I do this all the time. We have hundreds and hundreds of testimonials. And what I'm going to tell you will drastically improve your chances to succeed with this business. Because for me, and if you're familiar with my channel, you already know this, but I'm interested in what's between the ears. What's your mentality like? What kind of beliefs do you have? What kind of things do you have in your everyday life that are essentially guiding your decisions? It's not just about tactics. Tactics are everywhere. My channel is filled with tactics, strategies, essentially a bunch of free courses that I have on the channel that you can take, implement, and now you know the tactics. But tactics alone don't lead to success. If it did, then everyone would be successful, but that's not the case. So in this video, I want to break that down for you. The first thing that I want to talk about is that it is normal to be overwhelmed. This is a brand new business. This is a new skill. This is a new world that you are embarking in. It is completely normal to not know what's going on, to be overwhelmed, even though you've done hours and hours of research. Guys, when I first started this, I was in the sheriff's office, and online business was a completely new concept for me. I wasn't really on social media. I didn't really have any technical skills that I could go and rely on like some people do. And I started this business and I was completely overwhelmed. I felt like I was drinking out of a fire hose. I was so lost. And that was the reason why when I discovered Amazon FBA in 2016, I didn't even start it until 2018 because I was so overwhelmed that it was easier just to distract myself and go do something else. Instead of just taking it day by day, learning little pieces at a time to really digest the information and start applying myself every single day consistently, that then I would be able to really understand what was going on. But sometimes people will come in and just like I did in 2016, they will be overwhelmed and their first thought is, let me do something else. Let me quit. Let me not worry about this because it is too overwhelming. You have to understand this is completely new. This Amazon FBA, sourcing profitable products, working with suppliers, these are all skills. These are all skills that you need to master. Just like any other skill that you have in your life, it is going to take time. It is going to take effort, and it is going to take consistency to actually start to really understand what's going on and get to the point where everything just becomes second nature. I remember the first shipment that I ever sent into Amazon. I think it took me the whole day. I was so lost on what I needed to do, how to prep inventory, where the labels went, how to do everything. I remember I was going through YouTube video. Do I put everything on one box? Do I separate it all? Do I send a bunch of boxes? How do I even do this? What warehouse is it going to go to? Guys, I was so lost. And like I said, it took me a whole day just to get my first shipment out the door. But then, you do it a couple times and then it gets easier and easier. But the first thing is that you need to be okay with the sense of being overwhelmed. It's completely normal, happens to everybody. It happened to me. But if you're not able to work through that, then you're never actually going to get to the goal that you have. The second thing is that execution comes before confidence. We need to be able to execute daily in order to build our confidence that we can actually make this business work, that we know how this business works, and that this is a reality for us. This is actually possible for us. Okay, it ties in perfectly with number 1. Okay, without executing daily, everything that we learn, everything that we watch, everything that we hear, and everything that we read, it is just theory. It is just ideas in our head, but it is not actual tangible things that we are doing that will actually lead to a result. We need to take the actions every single day. regardless of how we feel about them, regardless if we feel like it or not, regardless if we even fully understand what we're doing. Just the act of going through the motions will start to give you new understanding of what you're doing. This is why I really like when new sellers start with Amazon FBM because they're fulfilling all of these orders and they're getting real-time feedback significantly faster than if you're just shipping out to Amazon, because we have to wait for processing, we have to make them available for sale, we have to wait for the customer to buy them, and then we get to see what's going on. But when you're doing FBM, you're getting the orders in, you're getting the inventory in, you're getting the orders in, you're having to create a shipping plan, you're having to send out those shipments every single day. So you're getting so much feedback and the experience is growing and growing, so that your confidence with the business, it just grows significantly faster. So many of my clients who went from 0 to a high number, 10, 20, 30K really fast, they were all doing FBM. Just like Murillo, he went from 0 to a 25K month in 72 days. Heber, he went from 0 to a 40K month in 106 days, both doing FBM primarily. And that's because they were just getting real-time feedback. They were able to flip their money faster, but they built a lot of confidence. And as soon as you start building a lot of confidence, then you're able to actually take more daily action that you need to take, because you know that this is real. You see it working in real time. So now I'm able to go and apply myself more and more, because it's essentially, in my head, it becomes like a video game. I source this, I price it for this, somebody buys it, the bars go up. Okay, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. But execution comes before the confidence. But if you just sit and learn and you're stuck in that consumption cycle of content, you're never going to grow your business. The next thing is consistency over intensity. Guys, this is one of the biggest things that holds new sellers back. They are very intensity oriented, which means I'm going to work really hard on my business this week because I'm really excited, motivation's flowing. I'm super motivated to build this business. I'm not going to do anything for the next week or the week after that. And then I'm going to go really hard again for a couple days. Then I'm not going to do anything. And usually it's not even for a week. It's usually maybe a couple days at best, maybe a day. And then that motivation starts to fizzle out when they're overwhelmed or when they're not very confident in what they're doing. They don't really have a good idea of how to source products. So then they kind of fizzle out. And instead of keeping it consistent day after day, they're focused on really short bursts of intense moments of research. And because of that, they never really make any progress. I would rather you take it slow, consistent daily action, a fraction of the time, but do it every single day, than to show up once a week for 8 hours. The person who's consistently showing up every single day, they're just able to pick things up significantly faster, because not only are they doing it every single day, but even when they're not doing it, their mind is still subconsciously, the skill is still able to grow and solidify. So then when they come back the next day, and they're able to make significantly more progress than the person who's just focusing on those intense short bursts. Consistency over everything. I have a concept that I really like that I think most of you guys should apply, which is effective consistency. Showing up alone is not enough. Showing up alone will only get you so far. You need to learn, you need to grow, you need to adapt, you need to be able to see what is working right now and let me do more of that. What is not working, let me stop doing that. Because consistency alone is like, hey, let's go build a house. I know how to put the foundation. I don't know what to do next. So I want to be really consistent. So I'm just going to keep pouring more and more foundation. That house is never going to be built, because you're doing things consistently, but you're not going on to the next thing. You're not learning, you're not adapting, you're not moving on to the next phase, which the next phase is, I already tried this, this, and this. These two worked, this one didn't. Okay, now let's do it again. And let's keep rinsing and repeating the process. Effective consistency will beat consistency every time. Effective consistency will 10 out of 10 times beat short, intense moments of focus. Consistency over intensity. And the last one is that clarity is king. A lot of times what feeds this overwhelm, what feeds this procrastination, what feeds this sense of, I don't know what to do, so I'm just not going to do it, is that you just don't have any clarity. You're going out to the field, you're going to golf, and you're just whacking the ball in every single direction because you don't know where the hole is. You need to get clear on the direction. And where I see most people go wrong is that they try to go in too many directions at once. The most common, I'm going to do wholesale and arbitrage at the same time. I don't know how many times I've said this, but if you're trying to chase two rabbits, you're going to catch none. If you're trying to learn arbitrage and wholesale, you are going to have a halfway understanding of both models because you're starting them brand new. You don't have the experience yet to be able to do both at the same time because you haven't even mastered one. There are two different business models. Yeah, we're still getting inventory, but the way we go about getting inventory is completely different. We're sourcing from retail sites, we're manufacturing margin, maybe we're going in store to getting inventory. We're talking to suppliers, we're building relationships, and we are negotiating. Two completely different business models. And if you try to chase both of them at the same time, you're not going to get any results. Guys, I've helped thousands of people, thousands. The people who start off right from the beginning and they try to do both never make it work. Never, not a single time have they been able to make it work. How they do make it work when they're doing both is they start with one and then they add the other later on once they have mastered that first business model. Then they're like, okay, well now it's just a natural transition. I already know how to do this. So now let's transition over into wholesale, for example, and take what I've learned and apply it over here as well. And that will work. But if you're trying to do it in the beginning, it's not going to work. You're just wasting your time. Last thing that I want to leave you with, probably the most important of all of this, is that you need to be able to identify noise from reality. Noise, everything is gated. Amazon is really hard. Amazon's no longer viable. Amazon's this, Amazon's that. Amazon is shutting everybody down. Reality, they just didn't try very fucking hard. Okay, that's really it. We have had clients starting in the exact same Amazon marketplace, in the exact same climate that Amazon is in right now, with gating, with whatever people are complaining about, and they're still going on and building businesses faster than ever. 46 days for Jonathan. 46 days starting from zero to a 10K month. How does that happen if all of this noise and complaints that you hear online, if that were true, then nobody would be able to make this business work, and that's just not reality. You need to be able to identify what is noise, what is reality, so that you can then go and actually implement on the things that you need to do to actually build the business that you want. Guys, we help people build this business all the time, every day of the week. We have so many testimonials. We have so many upcoming interviews. People are still making this business work. I think right now is the best time of year to get into Amazon FBA so that you're ready for back to school. You're ready for Q4, because right now the opportunity is just as good as it's ever been. But if you listen to the noise, then you will never build this business. You will move on to the next shiny object, and then you will fail at that one as well, because you constantly listen to the noise. You listen to the complainers, and the complainers are never going to help you grow. The complainers are going to hold you down. They're going to be the people in your story who convince you to stay down, to quit, to just live whatever situation you're in right now that you want to change. Identify the noise, identify the reality, and then execute accordingly. Now, if you need more tactical, I created these 2 free courses right here that will show you exactly how to build this business. But if you want my one-on-one help, then go ahead and click that first link in the description. That is my mentorship program where I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people build this business that you're trying to build right now. And we help them do it in record time, just because we have a proven blueprint that has been proven to work by hundreds and hundreds of people. They get one-on-one mentorship by me, and they just have an active community of people trying to do the exact same thing as them. And we just time collapse. All we're doing is we're just taking your learning curve that's going to be normally this long. You're going to make a ton of mistakes. You're going to lose some money in the process. And we're going to collapse it down to here so that you're able to streamline the process. You don't make any of those costly mistakes, and you know exactly what you need to do every single day of the week.